Hello and welcome. Today's presentation is a very important one and critical at the same time, and we're looking at why we are afraid of responsibility. Most of the time, we are not confident in our own capacity, knowledge, or other personal features as human beings. We're afraid of the possibility of a bad outcome. That's the reason why most of us are afraid of responsibility. We see by the reaction which we make each time a problem occurs, maybe in a family or work situation or even personal businesses. We are afraid of commitment on families and life issues which matters. We are afraid of the outcome when we consider a long-term commitment. And this is challenging. No wonder why, in most cases, we are not growing as individuals. We avoid doing something difficult, such as taking care of elderly people in our families or even the community. We often run away from such responsibilities for fear of carrying other people's burden. But even though responsibilities can be a headache, a person comes out a little more mature after each one. Eventually, they don't seem like responsibilities at all, but a normal part of life, like eating and working. That's why we need to embrace responsibilities and find answers to them. I think the best way to avoid escaping responsibility is by defining and demarcating them and then prioritizing them. This way we would have already decided on what needs to be done by us, what can wait and what doesn't need attention. You then better be equipped to deal with responsibilities. Now let's look at 8 ways to live responsible for us, even other people. The first thing is we need to take responsibility for our thoughts, feelings, and words, and also actions. We must stop the blaming game, because each time we begin to blame others, then it means we throw away responsibility and no one will be able to stand and do what is right. And in most cases, that's what we witness. We must stop complaining, because complaining alone cannot solve anything. All we need to do is be responsible and find answers to a prevailing situation. We must refuse to take anything personal, because each time we take anything personal, that is taking offense. And what we have mentioned concerning the blaming game and complaining cannot actually help us anymore. We must make ourselves happy. When we see a situation, we should be happy that we have what it takes. We have the capacity to come in and give solution to any prevailing situation. That's a sign of maturity. We must live in the present moment. Okay, so there's always what to do presently. We have the solution. We must not be worried of what will happen maybe 3 months from now, 5 years from now. We need to take care of the day which we have, and use the power of attention and feel calm and confident. Now, the most important thing is actually the need for being accountable in everything we do. Accountability is something people do fear everywhere. They fear what will be expected of them and how they will measure up. They fear being held accountable to a new project that isn't clearly defined yet, akin to fearing the unknown. They fear being responsible for poor decisions or sending the wrong message. That's why people throw away responsibility, because it takes accountability, and only strong-minded people are able to stand out and offer solutions. Now, we don't need to be irresponsible or live a responsible life, especially if we are in a position of leadership, whether you are a father, mother, or you're leading a certain group of people at your workplace. If you are irresponsible, you are careless about the consequences of your action. You can't really rely on irresponsible people. Being irresponsible is the opposite of being responsible and careful. You do what you like and don't care about what happened afterwards. This is obvious when we throw away responsibility. People who have no sense of responsibility oftentimes are indifferent and lazy at the same time. Now the question is, why responsibility is so hard? Why responsibility is so hard? Why is it hard? One of the primary reasons taking responsibility so hard is simply that blaming everything and everyone is just so much easier. That way, after we have finished judging the situation from the comfort of our ivory tower and thrown around a few grumbled complaints, we are safe in the knowledge that our job here is done. Why does adult run away from home? Someone may ask. The reasons for going missing include traumatic experiences and strong emotions of being unable to cope and feeling trapped and powerless to talk about or share their feelings. Many missing adults gravitate towards railway stations and airports where they can hide in the clouds. It is sad to say there are a lot of fathers who have gone into hiding through their feelings, even though they seem to be present at home. Now, let's look at why fathers leave their children, which is a sad situation. Fathers don't simply abandon their families out of laziness or a lack of love. They leave because they feel unworthy. Fathers tend to go into parenthood with unrealistic standards, which ultimately set them up for failure. Now, this will help someone. Ways to get yourself back to responsibility. How can we do it? Get a vision for excellence. Most of us don't even know what excellence means. This simply means lead by example. Get a commitment to excellence in whatever you are doing. Reward responsibility. Use responsibility, encouraging ways when it comes to family. Analyze the process and payoff of taking responsibility. So, the subject of responsibility is so very important, beginning with our personal lives. Running away from responsibility, blaming others for failure of taking responsibility is not the answer. There are a lot of people who are afraid of responsibility. They will always give excuses as to why they cannot do anything about any situation. We are responsible for each other. We are responsible to reach out to each other and help one another. I hope this has transformed someone thinking. Let's be responsible and change our world, our churches, our workplace, and make it a better place to live in.